Welcome into another edition of the Red Sox Rundown. So excited to be back. We took a few days off for the 2025 NFL Draft, but we are back for a loaded show today. But before we do that, our man Jarren Duran, he had a little something happen this weekend, and we need to back our guy. Jarren Duran is the heart, soul, spark plug of this team. So if you love Jarren Duran, if you're going to back him, no matter what, spam 16 in the comments. I want to see hundreds of 16s backing Jarren Duran after what happened yesterday. As I already said, welcome into this edition of the Red Sox Rundown. In today's video, we have a lot of injury news to cover. Alex Cora has given a lot of really positive updates that we are going to hit at the top part of this video. We're going to recap all three games of Boston versus the Guardians, a series win for the Sox, which was very much needed. And then at the end of the show, of course, we are going to talk about the incident yesterday that happened with Jarren Duran and a heckler in Cleveland. I'm going to give my more extended thoughts. I did do a short yesterday, but I'm going to give my more extended thoughts at the end of this video. But let's talk injury news first. First things first, Connor Wong officially on a rehab start, which is great to see. He had his first rehab start yesterday, went 2 for 4, and I think the expectation is he should be back up soon. I think what Alex Cora had been saying is that he doesn't think that Wong's going to need that long. Of course, I'm sure he's going to need 1 or 2 more rehab starts, but I think after that, if he can show that he can hit, which was the biggest barrier for him coming back, I think he'll be back up on the roster really quickly. And that's great news because Blake Sabol, as much as we love him, as much as I'm sure he's a great guy, he's not a major league catcher right now. He can't throw anyone out to save his life. Carlos Narvaez has been good, and Cora did allude to Narvaez getting quite a bit of time once Wong comes up. But having Wong back in the lineup is something very valuable because your backup catcher is actually a pretty important position. And if Narvaez isn't going to start every game, which he shouldn't, you need Connor Wong back in this lineup and on this roster. So very good news for Wong. He should be back up, I would say, within the next week or so, hopefully. Kutter Crawford, another good news. The plan is for Kutter to throw live BP by the end of the week, which is the next big step in his progression. Look, I still don't know when we're going to see him. It may take another month or two until he makes the big league roster again. But as of right now, that's okay. The Red Sox do have reinforcements, and one, Lucas Giolito, who we'll talk about in a minute. I think that the lineups... the rotation I think is fine. So let him take his time. Don't rush him. But the fact that he is, about to start throwing live BP in the next week is a really, really good sign for Kutter. Not a good sign, Roman Anthony. Now, I saw this crop up a few days ago, and I didn't get a chance to talk about it, but I want to talk about it now because we did actually get an update on Anthony late yesterday into today. So Roman Anthony, if you don't know, fouled a ball off his foot. He missed a few games. There was some concern that maybe an IL stint would be needed, and that's not something you want to see when he's your top prospect and he's knocking on the door at a big league roster spot. The last thing you want, while he is absolutely scorching hot at the plate, by the way, him and Marcelo Meyer have been tearing up AAA, the last thing you want is for him to have a setback with an injury. We already know he had the sore shoulder, which kept him defensively out of the lineup, but he was still able to DH. And now with the foul ball off the foot, that's worst case scenario. You don't want him to get injured. But thankfully, according to all reports, he should be back in the lineup this week, which is a really good sign because, again, I think Anthony is knocking on the door to make the big league roster. But you guys let me know. I asked this a few videos ago, but I want to know. Is Roman Anthony called up before the All-Star break? I want you to type a yes if you think he is or a no if you think he's not. I'm going to say no. But I think it's close because the All-Star game is, a month or two away. And I don't think that Cora or any of them are really ready because the outfield is so congested. If an injury happens, he's called up tomorrow. But if everything stays how it is, I don't know. I'd love for it to happen, but I don't know. But you guys let me know. Y for yes and for no, let me know down below in the comments. Last injury update we have is around Lucas Giolito. And the expectation, this wasn't a real injury update, but this is something that we've heard over the past week or so. I think the expectation of a lot of Red Sox fans is that Giolito should be up at some point this week. I know a lot of people were pointing at the Toronto series, I think it is. Do they play Toronto next, or who do they start a series with tomorrow? They play the Blues. So they start a series with Toronto tomorrow. And that's the top of their rotation. They've got Crochet, Houck, Buehler. So I think a lot of people are leaning towards the Twins as one of his first starts. And I think that the expectation is that will happen. He said in an update last week that the fact that he pitched 5 innings was a really big step for him. And now I think after he had his most recent rehab start, the expectation is he will be up. So that's really great. You're going to have a full 5-man rotation that you had initially thought you were going to have at the beginning of the season. And now Bayo's up, Giolito's going to be up soon, and Sean Newcomb, that experience, thankfully, hopefully, is going to come to an end at the end of this week. You know, we recap every single Red Sox game after it happens. And if you want to hear the latest news, rumors, injury news, updates around your favorite Red Sox team, consider hitting that subscribe button. We got to our goal of 1,500 subscribers. But as you know, we are not satisfied here at the Red Sox Rundown. We are trying to grow as fast as possible. So our next goal is 1,600 subscribers. Wow, that voice crack was crazy. We need 75 new subscribers. If you love the Red Sox, if you want recaps of all 162 games, because now that the NFL draft is over, I got a little more time on my hands. So hit that subscribe button if you've not already. Recaps for all 162 Red Sox games. Don't miss out. All right, let's recap this series. I did not get to do recaps on any of these games because, as I said, the 2025 NFL draft, took place this past weekend, and at Chat Sports, I had other commitments, so I was not able to make videos. So I'm going to have one big reaction to all 3 games, starting with number 1. Do the Red Sox have a Tanner Houck problem? Because he continues to get absolutely shelled at the start of games. His line for this game was as follows: 5 innings pitched, 8 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 walk, 6 Ks. And those 4 earned runs all came in the first inning after you got out to a 3-0 lead from a Wilyer Abreu home run. Now, I'm not overly concerned yet because after that first inning, he was ice cold. And I mean ice in the veins cold. Like, he did not give up another run. But look, the base runners is a concern. The home runs is a concern. He does not look confident like he did last year. So I am worried. There is worry around Tanner Houck. But I'm not going to push the panic button like I think a lot of people are already. He's had some ugly starts this year. And giving up 4 runs in the first after you take a 3-0 lead is not good. But you got to also look past that first inning where he gave up no runs. The Red Sox had every opportunity to win this game. They lost this game 5-4. If you score 6 runs, math is math, you win that game. So I'm not fully blaming this game on Tanner Houck, although that beginning is definitely concerning. I don't think they have a Tanner Houck problem yet, but it is definitely something to watch moving forward. Game 2, Red Sox win the second game of the doubleheader, and Jarren Duran is the spark plug of this team. In this game, he goes 3 for 5. He has a triple. He has 2 RBIs. He scores 3 runs, and he steals home. And it's not like a double steal or a passed ball. It was a true steal of home, where the pitcher is in his windup. He goes to throw, and when he does, Duran is sliding into home. It was one of the most electric sequences we've seen this year in baseball. 2 outs. Jarren Duran hits a triple. The very next pitch, he steals home. That's the type of dynamic running that you want to see for Jarren Duran. And in this series, this was his breakout series this year. He looked really, really good. And to see that he is back to his dynamic form is something that I think all Red Sox fans are super, super happy to see. He is back to being the spark of this offense. They win 7-3. And they do not get swept in the doubleheader. Game 3. This one was fun. Red Sox win 13-3. Brayan Bello absolutely shoves. 6 innings, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, 4 Ks. does give up a home run, but he still pitched really well, considering he usually crumbles in situations like that. But the Red Sox, this was a fun game, man. Jarren Duran went 4 for 6. Devers, Refsnyder, Rafaela all went yard. Everyone except for Trevor Story and Romy Gonzalez had a hit. And this team looked like they were having a hell of a time. 15 hits, 7 Ks, 5 walks. This Red Sox team, with the lineup absolutely going, with Brian Bayo throwing a good game, with the bullpen of Whitlock, Newcomb, and Hendricks absolutely shoving, this team is the team that we projected at the beginning of the season could compete for a World Series championship. And if this team continues to play like they did in Game 3, they can win a World Series. When they play like that, I think, no doubt in my mind, they can win a World Series this year. But they got to do it, though. Some days they look like a Little League team. Other days they look like a World Series contender. I like to say they're the World Series contender, but they haven't fully proven that to me yet. So you let me know. What's your confidence level in this Red Sox team winning the World Series? 10 being, yes, they're going to win. No doubt in my mind, they are sweeping the Dodgers in the World Series. 1 being, this is the worst team in baseball. They don't even deserve to be in the conversation. They're in the conversation with the Rockies as the worst team in baseball. You let me know. I'm going to give it a 6 because they haven't shown me that they can do it consistently yet. But when they do show it, they look really, really lethal. All right, let's end on a little bit of a somber note. This is nothing that we ever want to talk about. Nothing that feels good for anyone. In Game 3, Jarren Duran got into a confrontation with a Guardians fan. And the reason why is because the Guardians fan said something, I'm not going to say it on camera because it's not good, but said something referring to the mental health crisis that Duran openly talked about during the Clubhouse documentary that came out earlier this month. It took a lot of guts for Jarren Duran to open up about his mental health struggles. And he inspired a lot of people to get help. We saw that. The Samaritan's Hotline in Massachusetts saw a huge uptick in teenagers calling, looking for help because Jarren Duran told his story. And for this Guardians fan, who is a giant POS, and if you know what that is, you know what that is. That breaks my heart. This fan has no place in baseball. And look, I do want to give credit to the Guardians organization, the other Guardians fans in the vicinity, Major League Baseball as a whole. They all handled it incredibly. The Guardians broadcast was they were very, they did a great job. The Guardians fans in the stands were like getting in this guy's face. And then the Guardians put out a very nice statement, and they said they are in contact with Major League Baseball. The Guardians handled this very well. This fan should be banned from baseball for life. And I'm being legit about that. I truly believe that. If any fan were going after someone's personal crisis that they went through as a way to heckle them, that has no place in baseball. Baseball is a sport to unify people. It's called America's pastime for a reason. It's a sport that unifies people, does not divide people. And fans like this do not deserve a spot at the table. They do not. Now, I know what people are going to say, and I got comments about it on my short last night. What about the Boston fans from years ago that said all of those awful things? They don't deserve a spot in baseball either. They're not excluded from that. No fan. It doesn't matter what team you root for. Red Sox fans who have said horrible things, Guardians fans who have said horrible things, fans from every team have said horrible things. And those fans do not deserve a spot at the table. They do not deserve to be in this baseball realm. Because baseball, like I've said, is a sport of unity. It is not a sport of division. And what that fan did yesterday was over the line. It doesn't matter what you think of Jarren Duran. No one ever, it doesn't matter who the player is, should ever be heckled over their mental health. Ever. That was inexcusable. It was absolutely disgusting. And I'm glad that Major League Baseball and the Guardians and everyone involved are taking the right steps. I feel horrible for Jarren Duran. I really do. And I'm sorry that happened. It should not have happened. It was absolutely horrible. So show some love to our guy. Show some love to the spark plug of this team and spam 16 in the comments to show Jarren Duran some love. Because what happened yesterday was absolutely inexcusable. All right, before we get out of here, one more time, I'm just going to plug real quick. I recap every single Red Sox game. We'll be back to our regularly scheduled programming tomorrow when the Red Sox face the Toronto Blue Jays. Next goal, 75 subs to get to 1,600 subscribers. I appreciate you all so much. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. And until next time, go Sox.